Hey guys, I decided to get the old overhead valve engine out for something different. I ain't messed with it for a couple years, and I noticed that it had an intermittent spark. It wasn't sparking all the time, so the wire's bad somewhere between the spark plug and the coil. So I just picked up an aftermarket coil for it. I figured I'll show you changing that coil out and getting the carburetor ready and starting it up after it's been sitting for several years, see if it's going to run or not. First thing you got to do is take the flywheel cover off. You got 4 3/8 bolts. You got 2 on the front. You got 1 here and 1 right on the other side. Take all 4 bolts loose. Okay, so with all 4 bolts removed, you can take the cover off. Now some of these you got to take the screen off first to get it. This ain't the actual correct screen for this. It's supposed to be a little bit bigger plastic one. Now you can get to the coil, your flywheel. Okay, here's the new coil. You notice this is a different style than that one. This is an aftermarket. It's got the angle end on it, and this one had the straight end, which doesn't really matter. But you notice that the wire is a lot shorter on the new one, and I'm looking at it here, and the spark plug's right over here, and it's going to be just long enough. So they make it just enough to get by with. Now if you look on the coil here, it says this side out, and on the other side it says cylinder. So you put the cylinder side down, and this side out goes up just like this. And you can kind of just pay attention to how this one is, and your shut-off wire hooks in right here on it, right here on the bottom of it. So it just bolts right on like that. So we take your 2 5/16 screws out to remove it. I'm going to save this old one because I might try to splice in a new piece of spark plug wire at some point and fix it. I figure for right now I'll just put a new coil on there because the problem could be inside it. And hook your shut-off wire. I showed this part in another video. I did a quick tip video on it. Anytime you take your coil off, you either want to sand or file the top of these posts. If you get corrosion built up in there, it can cause a spark problem. So this is the ground for the coil. You just do that or sand each one of them until they're shiny, and you're good to go. Now we'll get the new one started. You don't want to tighten them down yet. Just get the 2 screws started on it for right now. And if you want, you go ahead and hook up your shut-off wire because it might be easier to get to right now. I'm going to have to crimp the terminal a little bit. It fits loose on the new one. But anyway, a nut driver is better to use on these screws to get them started. And the nut driver works good to run the screws in. It makes it faster and easier. And the screws are the holes are slotted so you can adjust the gap between the magnets on the flywheel. You see right here's a set of magnets, and you want the gap between 10 and 14 thousandths. A lot of people just put a business card in here. That's about the same thickness, but I like to use a feeler gauge. I set it for 10 thousandths. I like to get it as close as I can to get the best spark I can out of it. You can use 2 feeler gauges, 1 on each side, or you can do it like this. Just barely get it snug and push it down against it. Snug it just a little bit more. And do it on the other side like that. You should get just a little bit of drag on both of them. See, this one's got just a little bit less. So push it a little closer. That's good enough. And I like to put the final torque with a wrench, just about 1/8 of a turn. Don't go crazy with it because you're just going into aluminum. And check it again just to make sure you get about the same drag. This side just a little bit tighter, and I'm not going to worry about it. It's good enough. Not enough to matter any. So, let me get this terminal crimped. Okay, I got the shut-off wire hooked up here. Had to crimp it just a little bit. And if you're wondering where I get the coil at, the aftermarket style, I just got this off eBay. It was around $11 at the time this video was made. And I knew the actual Briggs and Stratton brand would cost at least twice that. And that's up to you. Some people say these don't hold up as long, but I haven't had no problems with them yet. So, yep, so we'll get ready to put the flywheel cover back on. And another thing, if you want, you can put the rubber boot on the spark plug wire here. It's optional. It's recommended, but a lot of them don't even come with them factory anyway. So if I have one, we'll put one on there, but I don't think I have one. Okay, guys, there's one little problem using the aftermarket coil. If you run it through the slot here where it's supposed to go, it won't reach your spark plug. So what I'm going to have to do is route the wire over here on these pins, and it reaches. You see there? Which ain't really going to hurt anything. There's a space all the way up through there. If it was going to hurt anything, it's going to cut down your air circulating past them pins a little bit, but it shouldn't matter. And it'd be recommended to put the boot on the wire here, because this might arc against that metal right there. So I'm going to try to bend it out of the way to keep it from arcing for right now until I can get me one. And once you do that, you're ready to put all your bolts back in. And don't get them real tight, but you're just going into the aluminum block there. So just barely snug them with a wrench or ratchet and you'll be fine. So next time we'll take a look at the carburetor here after we get this back on, then we'll see if it's going to start. One more thing to note, make sure that your cooling shroud locks in on that side and on this side. If you don't, your air is not going to get past the cooling fins and you'll burn it up. Okay, so here's the carburetor off of it. It's a Walbro LMT 2-piece carburetor. And first thing you might notice, it's missing the fitting right here. I got a little trick for that, because this carburetor ain't a main carburetor or nothing, because this engine ain't really used for nothing. But I'll show you a little trick to getting past that if you don't have the fitting for it. Just take a regular 1/4 inch fuel filter. It fits a 1/4 inch ID fuel hose, and just push this in there. You gotta put a little bit of force in there, but it'll go. And it don't look very good, and that can break off easy, but if you're in a bind or if you're just testing something, you can get by with that. And you've probably seen that in some other videos when I use this carburetor, but it works. So now we'll get it bolted up on the motor and see if it's going to run any. Alright guys, I got the carburetor bolted up, and I just got a temporary throttle setup because I'm just using this temporarily. I mean, it's not going to be a permanent setup anyway. And got the exhaust on here, the manifold I made. And I painted it black just to make it look a little bit better. Now I'm going to get ready to put some oil in it and see if it'll run. And if you want to see more about this exhaust manifold, I got another video on how to put a tractor style exhaust on there. And you'll see some different setups using that. But for right now, I'm just going to put a regular muffler on it for getting it started. Alright, so we're going to get ready to start it here. This motor ain't been ran for several years, so I figure we'll probably have a little problem getting it started, so we'll see what happens. Well guys, it's running, seems like it's running pretty good, but it's making an awful noise. I don't know what it is exactly. Sounds like something rubbing somewhere, but I don't know, I'm going to check it out a little bit. Okay guys, so the noise is internal. I took the flywheel cover off and ran it. It's still making noise. I thought maybe a flywheel fin was rubbing or something, but it's not. So it's got to be either the crankshaft, something wrong with the synchro balancer, or the rod in it. And I'm gonna go ahead and run it long enough to make the two videos I'm working on right now, which one of them is this video here, is replacing the coil and getting it running again, and the second one is doing the custom exhaust on this type of engine. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start it up again. We'll let it run for a couple of minutes, and I'll end this video and do the finish up the exhaust video, which will be on different types of mufflers and stuff on this. Then we'll I guess I'll tear the motor down and see what's going on. I'll make a video on it when I do it. The main purpose of this video is showing how to replace the coil and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do my other exhaust video, and we'll go from there. So if you got any questions or comments on changing coils on this type of engine, or any of the carburetor issues I had on this, leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching.